that for the period of her suspension, she be barred from representing herself to the public, locally and internationally, as the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I come with a heavy heart from Nigeria, but first I'd like to apologize to Honorable Kafila Obara. I am not here to bring shame to our country. I'm here to seek help for the women of Nigeria. Again, my name is Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. 5 days ago, on the 6th of March 2025, I was suspended. As a senator, I was suspended illegally because I submitted a petition of sexual harassment against the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio. I thought that by submitting the petition, he would recuse himself, and both of us will submit ourselves to the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition for a fair and transparent investigation. But unfortunately, I was silenced and I was suspended. I was suspended for 6 months, amongst many other stringent conditions, such as taking away my security, taking away all the officials, vehicles, and other items that were handed over to me as a senator. My salaries will be cut off. I must not appear anywhere near the National Assembly. And for 6 months, I'm not to introduce myself or present myself as a senator locally in Nigeria or internationally. That means I'm here illegally, but I have no other place to go but to come here and speak to you women.
Oh, Billy!
Because this is a bigger picture. This is a bigger picture. It depicts the crisis of women political representation. My suspension is not just about me. It's about the systemic exclusion of women from political leadership in Nigeria. Women make up 3.6% of political offices. And in the Senate, it's just 2.8. We have 109 men and only 4 of us are women. So right now, it's 108 with only 3 women. This is a clear case of political victimization, punishment for speaking out against impunity, corruption, and gender-based violence. The United Nations Declaration 48/104 declares sexual harassment as a form of gender violence. The Senate's actions are an assault on democracy. I was elected by my constituents to represent them. Yet a few powerful men have unilaterally decided to silence their voices by suspending me for 6 months. My call for an open and transparent investigation into harassment allegations have been met with hostility instead of accountability. If a female senator can be treated this way in the full view of the world, imagine what ordinary Nigerian women would go through every day. I call on human rights organizations, women movements, and democratic institutions to hold the Nigerian Senate accountable. You may ask, what are my next steps? I will resist the political intimidation. In the past few days, a number of my colleagues, my male colleagues, have reached out to me and said, Natasha, all you need to do is apologize and retract your statements. And I told them I am not going to apologize. I will not apologize for my truth. That I will stand the 6-month suspension, and the very first day I return, I will represent my petition on sexual harassment. And I will continue doing so until there is a fair and transparent investigation. I will fight this injustice and continue to represent my constituents, whether the Senate wants to hear me or not. I will work with women's groups, civil society, and legal teams to ensure that this unconstitutional suspension is quashed. This is bigger than me. This is about ensuring that no other woman in politics or public office will ever be silenced again. Thank you so much.
So as you can see right there, Senator Natasha has taken her fight with the Nigerian Senate, or should I say, Senator Akpabio, to the United Nations. And of course, this is in spite of warnings not to do so by the Senate. Whether or not this is a smart move, only time will tell. So a few things stood out to me in her speech to these women at the United Nations. So she started her speech by telling her compatriot, Honorable Kafila Togbara, a member of the House of Representatives, she wasn't there to bring shame to Nigeria. But that's exactly what she did. I mean, to report the head of the legislature in Nigeria is one thing, which I must admit she has every right to. But to blatantly lie about the reasons for her suspension tells you everything you need to know about the Nigerian politician, or should I say politicians generally. So let's set the record straight, especially for those of you who are interested in facts and truths. Senator Natasha wasn't suspended because she accused Senator Akpabio of sexual harassment. She was indeed suspended because of this.
Your point of order is sustained.
Order, please.
Dismiss Senator Natasha, please. You are not recognized to speak from there. That is the order of the Senate.
Sir, order 10 on privileges. Order 10 on privileges.
Distinguished Senator Natasha.
Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice. A motion declaring that the content of breach of privilege has been
suspension immediately.
You have deliberately silenced my voice and the voice of Kogi Central on this ground. You have denied me the right to contribute to worship. I have not been able to take the second reading of my numerous debates. So, Mr. Senate President, I am not afraid of further being silenced. But I will not be shocked to the corner. I choose, as the Senator duly elected by my people, I choose to remain on this seat. What you will do, Mr. Senate President, is to suspend me from sitting. And I promise you, the fact that I am suspended does not mean that I will cease to contribute my quota to the development of my people, the women of Nigeria, and Nigerians at large. Mr. Senate President, I have taken a whole lot from you. Some I don't want to speak publicly, but in due course I will tell Nigerians know how you have discriminated against me, how you have maligned me, how you have dehumanized me. Your choice of words is everything that you see in the Senate. I will not be shocked to be rich to the womankind, and I have voted to the whole law. So, Mr. Senate President, I am not afraid of you.
Now we can argue about the fairness of the 6-month suspension, which in my opinion is ultimately going to be rescinded by the courts. But for her to stand before this August occasion and try to distort the facts is really unfortunate. Truth is, she doesn't even need to lie, because suspending her for 6 months because of this is bad enough. What Senator Natasha should have said, in my opinion, was to argue that she was suspended so that her sexual harassment allegations will not be heard. But to say she was suspended because she accused the Senate President of sexual harassment is beneath her office. She knows this, and as I've always said, she, as well as the man that she's accusing, don't seem to have any modicum of integrity. Again, this is for anyone who is interested in finding out the truth and nothing but the truth. Now, after this, they are shouting match. A committee was set up to investigate her outburst. The committee met and invited her, but she declined their invitation and, of course, did not participate in their hearing because she felt they would not be fair to her. And I understand those concerns. Now, this is where it gets interesting. On the day the committee was presenting its final report to the Senate as a whole was the same day Senator Natasha was also presenting a sexual abuse harassment petition before the Senate. As it then turned out, the committee recommended a suspension, which an overwhelming majority of senators supported. So the idea that she was suspended because of the sexual harassment allegation is fundamentally false. As I hinted earlier, Senator Natasha and her supporters can indeed argue about the speed at which the committee sat and reached its conclusion. And that will be a fair argument. But to go all the way to the United Nations to tell a barefaced lie is one of the reasons she doesn't have my sympathy. But you just have to fear, or should I say, respect Senator Natasha's acting skills, which is on full display here. And all I can say is, I fear who no fear Senator Natasha.